Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lion's Den Show. And here's your host, Cody, Robert, and Judy.
Welcome to the Lion's Den Show. I'm your host and your toast, Cody, Robert, Judy. Cheers. Thank you, brother. Today is March 29th, 2011, and we have a pretty action-packed show for you today. Our last show featured Mr. Donald Trump, as you might remember, in one of the biggest cat fights we've seen on The View. And that has created a media sensation and firestorm that even the Donald says he wasn't really prepared for. We're going to feature on this show today a phone recording from Donald Trump on Fox and a letter of interest to Donald Trump that was actually published in my book, Taking a Stand, in 2008. Whoever thought that letter would have come to be as relevant as it is now with the media sensation of the Donald contemplating running for president. We also are going to show you what we think is the very first commercial that is going to be aired in the 2012 presidential contest. Wow! This is going to be exciting. The whole episode of The View has been broadcast, rebroadcast, Twittered, and blogged all over the world, causing quite an embarrassment for America. While this is America's embarrassment, we need to remember this was started by one man. His dishonesty and broken promise of transparency. While the buck may stop there or start there, we all certainly realize it doesn't stop there, because hundreds of people who have gone along with this, adding actually to the embarrassment. It is interesting, I think, every American really needs to take a good hard look at their representatives and senators who are really the ones that have manufactured the firestorm, because they haven't done what they were charged to do in the first place, and that is protect, preserve, and defend the Constitution. There wouldn't be any steam to this locomotion if they had handled this in one simple qualification for verification hearing in investigating the eligibility of Barack Obama. The fact that they haven't shows a certain embarrassment on their part for cowering to this issue that is very important to the public. We have featured on this show a well-known fact to both Democrats and Republicans that more than 51% of the American public do not believe that Obama is eligible to be president, and that's across party lines. If we looked at Republicans and Independents, the numbers simply go up. Okay, let's start off by listening in to the phone call of Donald Trump at the morning show at Fox. Run the clip, please. It's like 3 minutes and 23 seconds long, but Mr. Trump makes some really good comments that are important to hear, and he's asked just an insanely stupid question like, why would you go down this road, Donald? Okay, run that clip.
Right, Mr. Trump, does it have anything to do with race?
Absolutely not. And I like Whoopi. I've always had a good relationship with Whoopi. She asked me to do a movie for her. I was in a movie. But frankly, I mean, I think it's insulting that she brings up, what does that have to do with race? In fact, when she said it, I said, what are we talking about? Right. The fact is, they asked John McCain for his birth certificate. They've asked others for their birth certificate. They asked Bush for his birth certificate, by the way, I just found out over the weekend. And they would ask me for my birth certificate. And by the way, it's sitting on the top of my desk. They give you a certificate of live birth, which anybody can get. Just walk into the hospital and you get a certificate of live birth. It's not even signed by people. Right. Now, you know, this guy either has a birth certificate or he doesn't. And I didn't think this was such a big deal, but I will tell you, it's turning out to be a very big deal, because people now are calling me from all over saying, please don't give up on this issue. If you weren't born in this country, you cannot be president.
But do you think he was born in this country?
I am really concerned, and I will tell you, when this all started a week ago, I assumed, hey, look, you have no doctors that remember. You have no nurses. This is the President of the United States that remember. That ad that was placed in the Houston paper, that was placed in the paper days after he was born. Sure. So he could have come into the country, and they did it for social reasons. They put it in. They did it for whatever reasons. Right. There are a lot of reasons you could have put an ad in, but he could have been born outside of this country. Why can't he produce a birth certificate? And by the way, there's one story that his family doesn't even know what hospital he was born in.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. Donald, before you go, what about the mainstream media accounts of this dust up over the last week where they're trying to paint you as, you know, the mayor of Crazy Town for bringing this up.
Well, you know, it's amazing. I start off, every time I talk about the birthers, I start off by saying, and it's very interesting, I was a great student at the best college in the country. You know, I want to let people know I'm a smart guy, because what they do to the birthers, and I don't even like the term the birthers. I think it's unfair to them. These are people that want to see a birth certificate. They want to know that the president was born here.
But why would you go? Why would you go down this path, Donald? A lot of people were asking that question last week as well. Why would you decide to do this if, in fact, you decide to run for president?
Because if you're not born in the United States, you cannot be president. And there's a real question. And if this birth certificate exists, you know what I get a kick out of? The governor of Hawaii says, I remember when he was born 50 years ago. I doubt it. I think this guy should be investigated. I doubt. He remembers when Obama was born. Give me a break. He's just trying to do something for his party. The fact is, if you're not born in the United States, you cannot be president. He is having a hard time. He spent millions of dollars trying to get away from this issue. Millions of dollars in legal fees trying to get away from this issue. And I'll tell you what, I brought it up just routinely, and all of a sudden, a lot of facts are emerging, and I'm starting to wonder myself whether or not he was born in this country.
So it's not going away in your mind. Donald Trump, who we all know was born in this country, all you have to do is read the side of his building. Donald,
which one?
Well, you know, I like what Donald had to say about birthers. He compared them to being smart. Is there anything wrong with trusting but also verifying when it comes to something so important? Could you believe that question he was asked? Why would you go down this road? How about the foundation of America's supreme law of the land? The credibility of America, the authenticity needed to put our soldiers in harm's way acting as a commander-in-chief. I mean, are Democrats and Republicans really that stupid, or is it just the mainstream media? So we learned from Donald something we birthers have known all along. It's just simply wisdom to trust but verify. I think we did that with Saddam Hussein. Also, when it came to his denial of chemical weapons of mass destruction and his killing his own people, there's absolutely no reason we shouldn't do it with Barack Hussein Obama. Now, we wanted to feature a letter that's in the book, Taking a Stand to Mr. Donald Trump, from yours truly. That was actually published in the book as a letter of interest in 2008. By the way, you can get this book at Barnes & Noble or on Amazon.com and hundreds of other outlets. But I was like, wow! I actually wrote to Donald Trump and printed it in my book because at the time I was really concerned about American businessmen, and we have seen and heard now from Donald Trump. I think he was on speaking to Geraldo Rivera or Rush Limbaugh when he said this country is just not as great as it used to be, and it's going downhill. Our jobs are being shipped overseas, and the Chinese are making a fortune off of us and making it very hard to compete. Maybe we'll feature that interview another day. I think it was with Rush Limbaugh on American-Chinese trade imbalance that is hurting us because of their economic warfare tactics, lowering their currency base. Okay, the letter reads, Dear Mr. Donald Trump, May 26, 2008. Thank you for the Trump Hotel experience in Las Vegas, Nevada. My family and I just decided to come out for a little Memorial Day rejuvenation and stayed here. It was close when the Trump Tower opened in Vegas, as I remember. Funny, this has all come back to me now. We were a little disappointed at being given the runaround when we checked in. We were told we could check in at 3, then at 3:30, then at 4, and then at 4:30, and we sat around at the pool for 2 hours with our suits, without our suits. The manager comped us $100 in food, though. The hotel is beautiful and the help is very good at listening. I just felt it was a little slow in realizing the inconvenience of traveling 7 hours and then not being able to check in. The wife is a nurturing mother and nothing sets her off like uncomfortable teenagers, and I'm very sure you know that rolls downhill to me. The kids are customers for Trump for a long time, and that consideration, I believe, would have comped us a whole night and a show. That would have been good PR to them to talk and text all their friends about. It would have been. Here it is coming back to haunt him now. I'm running for President of the United States and would like your help in a great American campaign as a conservative independent candidate. My book is coming out within the month, and I will be on Amazon.com. The book is entitled Taking a Stand, the Conservative Independent Voice, and give America the vision of leadership void in the campaign of John McCain and the economic leadership Obama and Clinton are opposed to for American businessmen. There you have my warning stated in the letter. So there you have it. The letter I wrote to the Donald Trump in 2008 on Memorial Day weekend. Okay, finally, without further ado, we have the first presidential commercial that's going to air for the 2012 presidential election. Hard to believe as far as presidential candidates. This contest is heating up already, but you've seen the straw polls and all the hubbub about the excitement that's already being generated by Donald. So let's add to the mix and run that first commercial for the 2012 presidential contest. Let's see what it looks like. Run that commercial, please.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God?
So help me God.
How can you preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution if when you sign your declaration of candidacy, you fail eligibility and in doing so violate the Constitution? You can guess a candidate's hope who covers up proof of eligibility is that they won't get caught in their own web of deceit. While it's important a constitutionally eligible president keep our secrets, it is essential that trust be with the American people, not against them. I was the only 2008 presidential candidate that filed in federal district court action against Senator John McCain for being born on Panama soil and being naturalized, as well as Senator Barack Obama for being a British citizen through his father. My lawsuit had nothing to do with black or white, and everything to do with the presidential race. Americans need to know in this book. Okay, that's it for the Lion's Den show. We hope you'll share this with all your friends on your networking social platforms. And I'm Cody Robert Judy saying till next time, cowboy up and spur 'em in the guts.